Hey, today we're sitting down with Chief Dustin Tienter with the Troy Police Department. Chief, thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about just kind of stepping into that new role. Tell us a little bit about you were just appointed, right?
Yes, sir. Last Friday, I received the official appointment.
How was day one?
Day one was very interesting. I got to celebrate that event with my family and several friends, several officers, and members of the public. And it was a heartfelt moment for me.
Well, tell us a little bit about why are you the right person for this job?
I would believe with my experience, not only just on the job, but my intimate knowledge of this city, of this community, because I was born and raised in this community. I grew up in Moscow Mills. I attended Troy Buchanan High School, uh, and I've stayed here my entire career. Even with serving in the military, I've gained a lot of experience in seeing different aspects of life that a lot of people don't get to experience. Um, Even though I was born and raised here, I've been able to travel around the world, and I've been able to experience several different aspects as to what happens in society and how we as law enforcement can work better to work with the community and help ensure a safe, secure environment.
So the other day we sat down with James Knowles, the city administrator, and he had kind of walked us through the process.
Yes, sir.
And it sounds like it was a little bit of a process.
Yes, sir.
And so my question to you is to anybody that has those concerns about, oh, he's been here, this is the good old boy system. Can you kind of walk us through the process? And James said it definitely wasn't handed to you, but can you walk us through that process a little bit?
Yes, sir. I can say that starting a couple years ago, when our retired Chief Taylor was uh, talking about when he was going to retire, I'd had several conversations with him because um, he's a very, very kind-hearted person. He would introduce me as the next chief to people of the community, and I always would sharply kind of correct him and tell him, not to say that because we don't know what the process is going to be and how that's going to unfold. When the administrator uh, worked with the board and proposed this plan of actually hiring a firm to come in to do this evaluation to kind of guide the ropes, I was intrigued by it because I wanted to make sure that it was a fair and impartial process. And that was a way to ensure that it was. The beginning phases of that process consisted of me filling out a resume and submitting that into the company. When I did so, I also included my personal biography that I learned through military leadership schools to have a good, strong biography. So not only did I have the uh, basic resume completed to show my qualifications, I also wanted them to know who I was. So I included that biography, and I also included a tentative vision plan that I had for the agency moving forward, because under my thoughts is that we cannot be effective under a status quo type of scenario, and having a vision plan for the future, not only for the department but for our community and for our city. That is what drove me to develop that 31-page document for that. After that, I was notified later that I had been selected out of a pool of candidates to continue forward. The next part of that process consisted of a commission board interview, a written assignment, a timed written assignment, and also a tabletop exercise with the other candidates in the room. Uh, that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that. The board interview lasted approximately an hour and a half, and then I was directed to a room to do a timed 30-minute written exercise. And after that, took a break, and then I met the other candidates. And we did a tabletop exercise that was relevant to possible Troy issues that could take place. During that tabletop exercise, the commission board observed us. They didn't provide any input. They just gave us a piece of paper and said, "This is your scenario." And it was on us to communicate with each other, work with each other, and then present our plan to them. After that process, then I was invited to have a board interview with the city board. During that interview, there was a series of questions that was asked, and I feel that any question that anyone asks, there's a couple different ways to look at it. One way to look at it is you can give a simple yes no to an answer, but that might shortchange what your actual thoughts and what the perception that others take that as. So any question through any board that has been asked of me, I try as much as possible to explain myself and paint a clearer picture for the person that's receiving the information. So in that board interview, that's what I did. I also presented the board the vision plan that I had put together, letting the board know that it was the first ever vision plan that was ever submitted for the department. It was the first time that I had ever attempted one, and I let them know that it is all tentative, because all of that information is bigger than one person. It takes a team effort. My entire career has been revolved around only as a team we can succeed. And that isn't just police department personnel, that is board members, that is community leaders, that is all of us working together to continue to improve our public safety mission and to improve our organization. So based off of doing all of that, that is when I had found out afterwards that the board had unanimously decided to appoint me as the next chief. And then Mr. Knowles, he offered me the appointment.
Do you know how many people you were up against in that?
I don't have a hard number. I believe I heard there were 30 applicants, but I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Sure. Wow. So coming from the last administration, since you were already here,
Yes, sir.
what's the most important thing to bring from that, from Chief Taylor, to continue? What do you feel the most important thing is?
One of the most important things he taught me that absolutely needs to continue is not to forget the human element, not to forget that every single person has emotions and feelings, not to forget that everyone has the right to feel a sense of dignity imparted upon them, and respect. He always, he never led with a heavy fist. He did take corrective action when necessary. He never forgot that human element, and it's not just with law enforcement personnel within the ranks of the department. It is everyday interactions with our community. That was probably the single biggest thing I would say that I was able to take from him. He was a mentor and a father figure to me, and that really helped me to see the bigger picture early on in my career.
What's the first thing that you want to change? The biggest field that you really want to see change and bring?
Yes, that's a very good question. One of the biggest things right off the bat is our community engagement. I want to enhance our community engagement to a point to where we have good connections with our local residents, with our local business owners. The more of a relationship that we can build, the more trust we can have in our public, and also our public in us as well. So there's several parts to that go into play. Talking about attending regular meetings, talking about attending regular ribbon cutting ceremonies, talking about transparency for our public. There's certain information that we can put out. Sometimes we are limited to what we can put out, but our public needs to always know that we are there for them, and we, through our actions, not just the chief, all of our actions as officers need to be taking part in that. We have been a smaller agency for several years. I know that when Chief Taylor first started, he was the fourth officer of the department when there was 3,800 people in the city. Now we're over 15,000 residents. We are slotted for 31 police personnel, which includes 29 full-time officers and 2 reserve officers. We also have 2 civilian police clerks, and through that growth that I've seen over the years, it's been very challenging for us to really have good, positive community engagement. Just recently, I attended the monthly Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I'm absolutely happy and excited. I'm thrilled to report that they're going to place us on a consistent every month speaker basis to our business owners of our community and guests that attend those meetings. That's definitely a huge step forward compared to what we had partaked in before in that arena. And then there are other programs that I envision stemming from that to continue to build that connection, to continue to build our community with that.
Appreciate you laying that out there for us.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to, when did you say you got appointed?
I was officially appointed on Friday.
On Friday. How's week 1 been? Not even a full week yet.
Not a full week yet. Week 1 has been interesting. It's been fun. It's been exciting, and we are rolling with everything that we have.
So what's a big thing that you've gotten done this week? What you mentioned, you've been at some meetings.
Yes, sir. Yes. The biggest accomplishment I would say right now is getting that buy-in from the chamber and being able to speak at those monthly meetings, because from that, just from being able to start from that point, now we're going to be able to try to get our community buy-in at our leadership level and at our business owner level to let them know what we are wanting, what we want to accomplish, how we plan to grow, how we plan to improve services. And again, it's not a one-person job. I could speak about something, but there could be someone in the crowd that has good ideas and input as well. And then we can take that information, and working together, we can make an improvement.
All right, so let's talk about what you talked about, that first week, those first few days.
Yes, sir.
What's going on now? What's the big thing to do to get yourself ready and hit the ground running?
Yes, sir. Pretty much right now, I am still taking over the day-to-day operations that Chief Taylor was doing, getting more familiar with that. I have more meetings that are scheduled. One being that a monthly chiefs meeting with our regional partners in St. Charles County. I will be attending a meeting with them tomorrow, and really starting to get more individual with our officers on an individual basis to find out, what do you like, what do you hate, what would you want to change, and to compile that information together. That way we can develop a single page document to present to the administrator, the mayor, the board, to let them know that these are 3 to 5 objectives that we have identified that we can make immediate changes on within, I would say within the first 2 months, but to expand it out within the first year. But based from those conversations and based from having these good conversations with our community will help us to be able to finalize that vision plan and make it a reality. That vision plan was developed with a 5-year structure for implementation, but I was appointed on Friday. But even before my appointment, I have been working toward some of those objective goals that I had written down, and I've already been able to get some of those filled. So, broad strokes, that is in the process and is going, in my opinion, going fairly well. I haven't received any pushback from anyone at this point in time. And now, when we can produce our finalized version, we will be able to have something set in stone to work toward for that 5-year goal.
I probably should have asked this a little earlier. When it comes into taking over a new department, kind of making that transition, are we going to see a big change in personnel, as in different sergeants, and I'm sure there's going to be a different assistant chief now,
Yes, sir.
stuff like that.
Yes, sir. We do have currently right now we have 2 open patrol sergeant positions that we had 7 candidates put in for that are in the process of that testing, and based from that, we will have 2 new sergeants trained. We will need to make a determination on an appointment for the assistant chief of police, and we are working with those voids right now, but they're definitely critical areas that need to be implemented as soon as possible to help maximize our services. Um, some of that, in addition, would be that looking into actually putting together a support services unit, because some of our lieutenants right now have their hands full.
What's a support service unit?
Yes, a support service unit is a specified unit that takes on a lot of the administrative extra tasks um, to minimize disruption in day-to-day operations. Basically, as an example, I had a patrol lieutenant who was trying to oversee day and night operations of one of our day and night shift rotations of the police department. He had 2 sergeants, one on days, one on nights, but they reported directly to him for day-to-day operational guidance. And on top of that, instead of being able to be with his crews on a consistent basis, he was bogged down with our traffic highway safety grants, filling those out, our bulletproof vest grants, our entire fleet, patrol fleet, and doing the making sure the maintenance, making sure that when something was broken, that it gets repaired, that it gets sent in. He was in charge of organizing all of once a new vehicle is approved, uh, making sure that to follow up to get the equipment ordered for that vehicle, get the equipment installed for that vehicle. Uh, he had several other uh, areas that he had to focus on, and that made it a lot harder for him to be able to, again, focus on his patrol shifts. So one of the nice things of a support services unit is they can take a lot of those extra duties, a lot of those extra tasks, and they can take that over to where their primary responsibility is um, doing these grants, making sure that maybe taking over fleet operations and being able to be another source uh, instead of to limit the amount of multitasking that someone has to do. That would be the benefit of the support services unit and what it entails. Several other agencies within our region, St. Charles County, they have designated support services units, and each agency is a little bit different in the way that they use that group of individuals. But the big picture is for that is that it helps to minimize the amount of multitasking that you do, because we all know that the more that you have to divide your attention between things, the more room for error presents itself. And that's not necessarily uh, a ding on any individual person, but looking at the totality of how much is this person responsible for, and do they actually have the allocated time to be able to do so? That would be a reason why I'm a firm supporter of starting a support services unit.
When it comes to leadership, and we talked briefly about the sergeant, and then I think you spent a little time as assistant chief.
Yes, sir.
What are those really important qualities to you when it comes to leadership and looking at those?
Yes, the important qualities for leadership are that they have to be person-minded. They have to not be one that is going to act arbitrarily on information. There is a time and a place when immediate action has to take place, but for most of day-to-day operations, I like seeing people who have more of a servant leader mindset. I like to see people who want to build others up around them, because my entire career, I have devoted myself to thinking the big picture is that eventually my position is going to be replaced, and I need to be training those around me to be able to replace me. And with that, thinking of that leadership principle really can help to bridge the gap and all the way down to day operations. If a supervisor is given a directive to actually pull their car over, get out in the city park, and go walk around during soccer events, during baseball events. If they're given a directive, we need to be doing this. We need to be interacting more with our community. That supervisor or sergeant, I'm looking for the type of person that that directive can be given to, that they understand it, whether they really agree with it or not, depending on complaints of, well, we don't have enough people on the road to be able to do what we have. I'm looking for the supervisor that says, I understand that, I see the big picture, the why has been explained to me, and we will make sure that this gets accomplished. There's several different facets to leadership that need to take place. And yes, critical incidents do require a certain type of leadership at certain times, but that type of leadership, someone has to be flexible. They have to be able to, in a sense, read the room and adjust their leadership style as needed. Um, I do not want to lead with a heavy fist, but that takes in part with sergeants understanding that their role is the most important role in the agency. They are the backbone of the agency. When things come down to them, they have to understand that the way that they interpret and the way that they pass that information on to the officers really speaks volumes. Somebody, as long as it's legally, morally, and ethically correct, if it is a directive that is put down, whether they agree with it or not, as long as it has those foundations, and they can take whatever questions that officers might have and send it back up, and then maybe if there needs to be a tweak to something, it can be done. But I'm not looking for personnel who are just going to, that's dumb, yeah, we're not going to do that. An individual like that will have no space in a leadership role in our department.
Well, Chief, I want to open up the floor to you, and if you had 30 seconds to say, what's coming, what you're most excited for, and just open it up and talk to the citizens. What would you
Okay.
say?
All right. Yeah. So if I had 30 seconds, I would just simply say I would like all the citizens to know that I am here for you and our department is here for you. I want to be a proactive chief that lets our community know that we are going to do everything in our power to ensure that we maintain a secure, and prosperous community for each of you, each person. We will always be working to improve. No agency, no department is ever perfect. And with that being said, that there might have been times that we have fell short or that people have felt that we have fell short before, but we are always here for you and we are working to improve our relationship with our community. I feel very passionate and very strong about building a better community connection. And if anyone would have any additional comments or suggestions to improve that relationship, we are always going to be here to listen, evaluate, and implement changes where we can.
What's the best way to get a hold of you or your staff?
Yes, to contact our staff, we can be reached at our department number during regular business hours, 636-528-4725. If it would be an after-hours issue, as long as it's not an emergency, that would go through Lincoln County Dispatch at 636-528-6100. And anytime that we receive messages, we want to do our best to try to respond back to you as quickly as we can.
Well, Chief, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us, especially, this first week. I'm sure it's a little hectic, a little busy. And I also really want to appreciate you from even prior to being chief. Anytime I've reached out, you've been very quick to respond, even being out of town for military
Yes,
or
sir.
whatever. So I really appreciate it. And anything else?
I would just want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I know that some people get nervous when they talk to media personnel and that kind of stuff. I take it as an opportunity. So thank you for the opportunity to arrange this, to sit down with me. I greatly appreciate it because as a team, we will succeed. So.
Well, you were in hot demand, sir. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Seriously.